This is episode 151 of the Double Cross Anime Podcast. I'm Whooper, and here's Mario.
Hey, everyone.
It's been about a month, I think, since our last episode or upload on this channel. We got the two channels now. We have Triple Cross Cinema as well. We'll probably be doing that in a couple weeks. But for now, we're talking about anime. If you, for some reason, follow this podcast like on a week-by-week basis, then you know that we're about a month late, maybe 3 weeks late, on the summer 2022 anime season, like our impressions of 10 of the shows, 10 episodes that have come out, which is the way we typically do things. One of us was taking a trip, but now that we're both back, comfy in our homes and ready to talk across our 14-hour time difference, we've got those 10 shows. We've got them watched, but we watched them a long time ago. So we're going to do our best to remember the events of those episodes and our feelings about them. I don't know how well I'll do. How about you?
Well, let's just try and see. I enjoyed those 10 shows, so I hopefully when we get to them we can have something to talk about them. But yeah, hopefully. I was away for pretty much for 3 weeks and enjoyed myself over there overseas, and now just back to the cold of the winter here in Canberra, and back to anime, basically back to anime again.
Right. That's what it means. That's what it means to be an anime podcaster. Home equals anime. How long have we been doing this? Almost 5 years, right?
Oh God.
We started at the beginning of 2018. Yeah.
Yep, 4.5. Jeez. And
so not only is home equivalent to anime, life is just anime. Anime is life.
Yeah, I still can't believe that we still keep doing that after almost 5 years.
You want to quit?
Yeah, that might surprise me. Not in the near future.
Right.
But
well, me neither. I guess, but I mean, these 10 shows, there were some of them that were bad enough that made me want to quit.
Yeah, I do believe it's Whooper called out to go and quit, because he keep telling me like years after years that this is my last year of watching anime. So, so when the tap comes,
So I think I probably have said that once or twice, but more frequently I say this is my last year watching like 30 shows a year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut it down. I'm gonna cut it down to half of that. I'm gonna do 15. I don't know if this is the year that I'll make good on that. I think I've only finished 6 or 7 shows this year so far. But the end of the year is typically when I kind of do like a marathon of stuff that's come out in the previous 11 months. And I'm already gearing up to do another one of those kind of mentally in my head. So might be lying again about toning down my anime consumption.
Yeah.
As for now, though, we've got...
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what this summer season has offered. The 10 shows.
Right. I've got them all here alphabetically. So I don't know whether you called Luminous Witches Luminous or Ongakutai.
I call it Luminous Witches.
Okay. So that would impact our alphabetical order the way we typically do things. But I do know what show is first. You want to lead us off?
Yep. So that one is Bucchigire.
Yeah.
I think it's called a Shine On Boys or something.
Shine On Bakumatsu Boys. Because it takes place during the Bakumatsu era. Cool. Where the shogunate is trying to retain power.
Yeah.
And there are people who are... these main characters, like the shogunate is often framed as a villain in anime that are set in this time period, because they're abusing their power. They essentially have declared martial law over the entire country, and that's thought of as kind of fascist or militarist. And so the heroes are the people who rebel against them. However, in Bucchigire, the main characters, how many are there? 7 or 9? Do you remember?
Yeah, they are 7 plus the captain, so they're gonna 8. They're gonna
Oh,
be
right.
8 of them.
Yeah, so these
Hold
8
on,
characters, they
hold
work for the
on.
shogunate. What?
Yeah, I think they are 6 and plus the caption, so they are 7.
Oh, okay. Well, however many there are, 7, 8. Let's go with 7. Um,
Yep.
as opposed to a lot of anime series that are set during this time period where the characters are rebelling against the shogun. These characters work for the shogunate, which
Yep.
makes it a little different. And I don't know. I don't really feel one way or another about that fact, like that they're on one side of the law or the other. It's more
Yep.
my disinterest in the show in general that prohibits me from really appreciating it or wanting to recommend it. I didn't think it was that great.
Yep. All right. This is the last show that I watched. I watched it last night.
Oh,
And
okay.
still fresh in my memory. I don't think so because I have mostly forgotten like some of the details already.
Oh boy,
What
that
I do
doesn't bode
know
well
is
for the shows that we watched a month ago.
yeah, I really like the opening. Like it's look really great, and I was expecting more. But the story itself is kind of like I feel it's kind of brushed over. So it I feel it's more like a PowerPoint. Like this is like some of the event. This is like get into the character introduction, and we get like 7, 8 new characters to remember. And
Yeah, and they're all introduced in exactly the same way. And when I say exactly the same way,
yeah,
I mean even with the same character angles. I don't know if you remember that scene
yep,
where because all
yep,
7 of the main characters, or 6, I guess, of the
yep,
the characters who are joining the captain in serving the shogun, they're all like
yep,
wanted criminals. Rather than being wanted,
yep,
actually, they've been captured, awaiting a death sentence, and so
mhm,
there's a scene
yep,
where they're all lined up and they're like bound, their hands are bound behind their back maybe, or their feet,
yep,
and
yep,
they all, like, one by one, the captain convinces them to swear allegiance to him,
yep,
and each of them do it for their own different reasons. They're
mhm,
all like crazy. One guy's a doctor and he is obsessed with being able to like cut people up and study their organs and stuff. So that's his motivation. Then there's a fat guy who is promised that he'll be able to eat lots of delicious
you did,
food if he joins up. So of course he's
yep,
like, yeah, sign me up.
yep,
And as this is happening, the camera takes the same view of them straight in front, and then a shot in profile, and then like the bonds, tying the ropes tying their hands or their feet together will be cut, and then they'll have joined, and then it's
yep.
on to the next character. It just feels extremely methodical, um,
Uh,
and you can pull that off, if the characters have a bit more personality to them. But I
yeah.
the way that scene played out in this first episode, I was just kind of like, this is not
I
really selling me.
Yeah, I do think that it's intentional that they keep repeating that.
Oh, it
It's
definitely is. That's why I say that
yeah, but it
you can go in that direction. That's
mhm,
that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it on a conceptual level, but a lot of the
yep,
characters, they're just like the fat guy, for example. I mean, he's fat and he likes food, and that so there's not really an interesting exchange between the captain, who's manipulating him, like holding a carrot in front of his face, and
yep,
the man in question. It's just like, you're kind of fat.
yep.
You'll be able to eat good food if you come work for me. Okay. Um, most of the
Yeah.
characters I didn't
I
feel. I don't know. I wasn't really interested.
Yeah, and I also feel that the premise itself of like the band of criminals team up together, it sounds exactly like Akudama Drive, which are they from the same studio as well, from Chino's studio?
I don't even know who's animating Bucchigire. I mean, I think it's probably one of the better looking shows of the season.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I like the character designs,
Yep,
and I don't know.
yep.
Maybe
But
that's the thing that I like most about the show. There are a couple flashy looking fight scenes, But no, Akudama Drive was Studio Pierrot.
Right.
I don't think. I mean,
This one is
Bucchigire visually kind of reminded me of Heion Sedai no Iraten Tachi, maybe because of the colors. Of course, it's not as like balls out crazy as that show is, but the fact that most of the characters are like they have particular obsessions, like vices that motivate them, and they're all amoral, kind of similar.
Yep, true.
Not as Heion Sedai no Iraten Tachi, you're like, oh my god, I can't look away from this. This is just so weird and creative and disturbing. This show I have no trouble looking away from.
Yeah. And how do you think about the main characters? I think he's just too loud at the moment.
Yeah, he's loud. He's kind of, I don't know. He's kind of like a shonen, yelpy, spiky-haired guy. And he's got his. There's a scene in this first episode where, what do we see? It's like a Batman flashback, right? Where he sees his parents dying. No, there's a cliff, isn't there? And he jumps off the cliff as.
No, he got pushed out to the cliff
his mother,
by his mom. Yep, that's right.
Right, but both his parents are killed, aren't they?
Yep.
Isn't it implied that?
So he got pushed out by the cliff. The only thing that he can get a hand of is the mask of the killer. So he just basically wander around asking people if they know about the mask and
Right, and the mask has some sort of. There's like he's looking for fragments of the mask or some sort of like artifacts. That will lead him to his parents' killer. I mean, I want to say that it's an interesting idea, but it really isn't.
I think that is an interesting idea, but it just feels undercooked for me at the moment. Like the whole premise of getting them up and the mask thing.
I know what you mean. Like he's looking for revenge, and there's kind of a, he's got a part of the killer's identity, sort of, in having the mask, and he can use it in order to track him down. I mean, I know that when somebody comes up with a story like this, you're supposed to be like, oh yeah, I mean that's really cool, but I don't know if there's a way that they could have done it where I would have been interested. You take like this same staff and roughly the same story. I don't know how you present it differently or what kind of spin you put on it that would make me care that his parents got killed. I mean, you would probably have to, I don't know, have it dedicate an entire episode to a prologue where he's like growing up and you see his relationship with his parents, become stronger as he gets older. Like take a Demon Slayer sort of approach where the end of the first episode he comes back home and oh my god, my family, they're dead. And he can do some more yelling.
Like this show is not supposed to be that serious. It's supposed to be more like fun. So like that approach would be like heavy-handed to me, but
but that's if you don't go heavier with it and more serious with it, then I don't see how him searching for his parents' killer really matters that much.
And I agree with that, but we do see about like the mask thing. Like they have like the evil spirit, and in that episode we see like a guy, an enemy who
his
got
sword
possessed. Who got possessed, I think, by
did it have to do with his sword?
I think that have to do with either the source or the mask.
I just remember something about a sword contributing to a character's possession by a spirit, or perhaps the main character had the sword that he could use to detect the evil spirit or something. This is going to be a theme, I think,
I
throughout the course of this episode, where we
Yep.
can kind of remember the events of the anime in question, but not really. There was a sword. In that, I'm confident of that much.
Yeah, there were also like before that Ichiban Bushi, like, he declined to raw swords because he preferred to fight his style, freestyle. And
Right.
and in that moment he he rolled in the sword, and it have like uh overwhelming powers. And I think it's purified, like all the curse source. But yeah, we don't know that for sure. It's just a cliffhanger at the moment.
I don't even remember there being a cliffhanger. But I guess that's good.
Yeah.
Hook an audience, get them to come back in for the second episode. I just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I thought
that's
it was
what
pretty
I feel as
forgettable.
well. Yeah.
Eh.
So what ranking did you put on Bucchigire?
I put it in the number 6 spot out of 10. 1 being the best.
All right, I put it number 9 of 10. So you enjoyed more than me.
I absolutely cannot believe that you think that there are 8 shows that are better than this out of this group of 10. That is wild.
All right, the next one gonna be Isekai Yakkyoku.
Right.
Uh,
One of, I
of
think, 3 shows this season with the word isekai in the title. I might be
Yeah.
lowballing it there. It may be more.
Oh my god, have you watched the first episode of Jobless Isekai?
Jobless isekai. What is that?
The one that of the guy that without any job, jobless.
Yeah, but I mean, is that from this season?
No. Mushoku Tensei from last
Oh,
year.
Mushoku Tensei. No, I haven't seen the first episode of that.
Right, because
I mean,
I think
all the stuff about the main character, you know, being
yeah.
it kind of turned me off to watching it. I don't really care
Alright.
to watch it.
Yeah, that by mentioning that, I just meant that this one they start exactly have the same structure at the first episode of that show. So
Well, yeah, there's a
the-
guy who dies, and he wakes up in the body of a kid.
Yep, with the
And then
knowledge
he's-
of the of the like of the genius
Main character, yeah.
of that's right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that there have been at least 30 anime series that have done that at this point.
Yeah. And do you find anything like actually special about this first episode to make it like like it's old?
No.
Yeah, that's
No,
that's
no,
my
no,
feeling
no,
as
no.
well. I guess that later on he gonna use this power to like maybe open up the pharmacy as the title implies, but as for now it's just that he tried to learn about like the settings of his words, and it just happened that he had like a superpower, like he really OP already in this first
Yeah, he
episode.
breaks the
Oh god.
I mean, that's how these stories go, I'm pretty sure. And for as many,
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't even the first series of this type where the main character becomes a pharmacy or like a doctor.
Mhm.
That in itself is like a sub-genre within the fantasy genre in anime. It's like
Yeah.
a guy gets transported into another world and inhabits another character's body and then opens up a pharmacy. Like there something called like Isekai Slow Life that came out maybe earlier this year or in 2021 that had
Yeah.
the same premise as this one. more or less.
Yeah.
It's just
That's
my
yeah.
idea,
There's a
my
few.
theory about how these shows come to be is there's a Japanese person who receives a lot of pressure from their family to become a doctor, so they study and they get their undergraduate degree, and then they apply for med school. Either they make it and burn out early, or they don't make it, they're not accepted, but they still have all this
Yep.
knowledge about the medical field. So what do? They make an isekai series with a medicinal twist, and
Yep.
that's why we have more than one of this shit.
Twist. Yep. All right. To be fair though, I found that the first 5 minutes, 5 6 minutes before he died, he's in the real world. It's actually a bit different than we see in other isekai because they spend more time on who this protagonist is before like he got reincarnated into another world.
Nah,
No, no.
no points for that. Absolutely not. You remember the POV flashback to
Yep.
the main character's sister being in the hospital, where we're seeing
Mhm.
like her looking all pathetic in the hospital bed through
Yep.
his eyes, and she's like
Yep.
so sad, and
Yep.
she's like, "Brother, will I get better if I take this medicine and go to sleep?" And then
Yep.
smash cut to her funeral.
Yep.
It's just so
Yep.
inelegant.
That,
It's terrible.
what
It's
happened?
trash. The show is trash.
Yep. One thing that I appreciate though is that there is no like no fan service so far.
What do you mean?
This,
He's got like a sexy tutor.
yeah, but there's like no weird like look from him, like no gazing yet.
The audience gets to do that.
All
That's
right.
the point of the show.
Yep.
He's gonna have a bunch of cute haremettes surrounding him eventually. We just had to feel sad about his sister dying for a few minutes first, so we didn't have time to meet all the girls in this first episode. But they're coming. They will arrive.
That's true. And don't you love the reaction of her tutor when she freak out about his superpower? And I remember distinctly a scene where like she freak out that he had no shadow.
Yeah, that
So
comes
that
pretty close to the end,
she
doesn't it?
that it does. And
What was
and
the reason for him having no shadow? I
I
can't remember.
yeah, they provide no reason yet, I believe.
Okay. I did like that his tutor had like a magical power measuring stick. She just
Yep.
happened to have that, so she could measure his magical powers. Because he's got amnesia,
Yep.
sort
Yep.
of.
And it's
And
broken.
right, he's just so powerful that he breaks the magical power meter with his magic skills.
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh my god, he's so strong."
You
That's
don't show
so-
that to other people.
Oh, is that what she
What
tells him?
whatever you do, don't do that to other people so that they don't freaking out. They
Right.
don't freak out. That's what she said.
Yeah, so it can be a secret between him and her, justifying, her existence as a character. There can be something for them to talk about
Alrighty.
apart from how big her boobs are.
Yep. So just all in all, the setup is pretty similar to me, and I don't think that the main characters stand out that much to like to be stand apart from other protagonists of the same kind. So this is one for me just like really really uninspiring.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't even know why we watched this.
All right, I put that 8 out of 10.
So did I.
All right, let's see if the next one can fare a bit better. I doubt it though. Let's see.
We'll
The
find out.
Yeah, the next one is Hoshino Shamidare or Lucifer, also known as, better known as Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer.
Yeah. I don't know why we watched this either.
All right. Well, I kind of like the first episodes. It's not something that gonna blow my mind, but they still do it well enough. I believe uh to suggest a like to have like a a that's something that like I'm looking forward to.
All right. Well, that's good. I'm glad that somebody somewhere on this earth is optimistic about this series.
Well, I still plan to watch it to the end, but yeah, the production itself is like it looked like it can fall apart at any moment.
It has fallen apart. It fell apart at episode 0.
Oh God.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's a bit terrible, and I do feel that the comedy is a bit off at times as well, especially like during like all the scenes where our main guy, what's his name,
I don't remember.
Yuhi, try to get rid of the
The lizard?
the lizard. Yes.
Right. Yeah, where he like throws him out the window and then he turns around and he's still in my room. How'd that happen? That's crazy.
Yep.
This I remember
and
there on a particular image board that will not be named. When the anime, announcement for Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer came out, there was mass rejoicing. Everyone was like, "Yes, thank God! It's been 3,000 years. Finally, Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer anime." Everybody was over the moon about it. It was like the most discussed topic of the day on this particular website, which shall not be named. And then, the first trailer comes out, and everyone is immediately like, "Oh God, it should never have gotten an anime adaptation."
Yeah.
What did we do to deserve this?
Yeah, because I remember that at one point, maybe Studio Trigger want to adapt it, and then they pull out.
Really? I know a lot of people were hoping that Studio Trigger would adapt it, but you're saying that there was like some employee of the studio expressed an interest?
I did read some blogs saying about that, so I have no source to confirm on this.
Yeah, I don't think. Maybe it is true, but I don't think so. I think that was just what a lot of fans wanted, because a lot of people regard Hoshino Samidare as like kind of adjacent to Furikuri, which was by
Really?
Gainax. Yeah, a lot of people wanted the pillows. Like, how sometimes
Because
like
of the
currently.
hammer?
Go ahead. What?
Because of the hammer, it's look like the guitar, so that they can smack people's head. With that, I don't see the resemblance at all between this one and Furikuri.
I mean, as after one episode, I don't either, but I haven't read the manga, so I have no idea. We read Spirit Circle on this very podcast, but I haven't read even one chapter of Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. So is it actually anything like Furikuri? I can't say, but a lot of people feel that way, and so they want it. Like right now, there's the new Chainsaw Man trailer just came out. Mm-hmm. And fans like had an idea in their head of who, like what kind of seiyuu, who they wanted to voice the characters. And so the second trailer has just come out, and it revealed the casting of the 4 main characters. And a lot of people are upset that such and such a character wasn't played by this person, or doesn't have a voice that sounds more like this, or they wanted that fans get ideas in their head about what they want, like their dream adaptation to be like, look like, sound like. And people for Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer wanted Trigger. They wanted the pillows. They wanted crazy, I don't know, like Sakuga. And they got the opposite.
Yeah. Well, that sounds sad. That sounds so sad. But the thing is, I know that you have never been fan of Satoshi
Mizukami's
uh, products. So
well, I've only read
we
Spirit
tried-
Circle and watched 4 episodes of Planet With. That's all I know.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And
based on that,
and you
I'm
didn't like
not
them
really
at all.
interested in him.
Yeah, that's right.
However,
And-
me not being really interested in him or his work doesn't. I mean, this show is still bad. The character lighting's like overexposed. There's just a host of ugly looking textures applied to all sorts of different scenes, especially the monster. Like the monster that he gets in a fight with in the middle of the park, and then the girl, whose name I can't remember, comes to save him. That thing looks.
Samidare.
Her name is Samidare? Okay. Her
Yep.
That thing just looks like a nightmare. And I don't mean that it's very realistically realized and is thus capable of frightening you and like haunting your nightmares. I mean, it looks nightmarishly bad, as though if I were the person responsible for having designed it for this anime series, I would have nightmares about the stability of my job. It just no to this entire thing.
All right, I just feel that like it isn't good. All right, it's not that bad. It's not that terrible that people make it out to be. I still enjoy a good chunk of it. Maybe it's just me, though.
No, it's not just you. I'm sure that there are people who are enjoying this, but not many. I think I think a lot of people are pissed.
Yeah,
and I probably would be too.
When you have like this kind of expectation and it's turned out to be like this, you have like all the right reason to get pissed. And
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
just-
you're not really justified in feeling that way, but I guess it's understandable.
Yep.
I mean, when a series that you love gets an anime adaptation, you don't. I mean, you can follow the news and see what the staff members, like what the level of experience is among the staff, and you can like make cautious predictions and maybe try to feel out what it's going to be like. But you don't. I mean, you don't control it, So when it turns out to look a particular way, sound a particular way, you just got to, you get what you get, and then you feel about it however you feel. But
Yep.
it's not like you have anything to do with it, so
Right. So
don't go jumping off a bridge or anything if you're listening to this and you hate the anime adaptation. Just take a step back from the ledge.
And just be assured that I'm planning to watch it to the end. So
Bro, I would.
you're gonna hear a report from me. Like when this show is finished.
You know what I can't wait for is especially since the format of our podcast is a little different now. We used to, discuss stuff in detail like every single week, and we could more or less figure out what the other person's favorite anime of the year were. This year it's going to be a little bit different, since we're taking it pretty easy on the anime stuff. Sometimes we're only uploading like once a month, and not just because people are taking trips, but because we're not talking about anime that frequently. So now it's going to be like, what if Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer ends up being on your list of your 10 favorite anime? I mean, that's the end of the
Maybe top
podcast
5.
right there. It's over. There's no lower point that we can reach.
All right.
But you've
might
announced
see.
your intention to watch the entire thing, so there's a future where that could happen.
All right. So I place it 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I bet
9
the
for
last
me.
spot. All right. It's not the last.
Yeah.
Very.
No, the
interesting.
next one is last.
All right. So the next one gonna be
Luminous.
Luminous Witches.
Yeah, I only watched half of this.
All right, wait, maybe that's why. But do you know that it's a spin-off of Strike Witches?
Yes. In fact, I knew that coming into it, so I was
Right.
kind of puzzled about like why we picked this to watch.
Yeah.
That's also one of the reasons why I stopped watching it midway through. I mean, I also wasn't enjoying it at all, and I thought,
All right.
it was
Yeah.
bad. But I mean, have you seen? I haven't seen Strike Witches, so have you?
I have seen like the first I think 2 episodes of Strike Witches, so
Okay.
I think I know like the basic stuff of it. It's like girls fighting in like a imaginary World War 1 or 2 or something, and they have like
It's an alternate universe, World War II. Yeah.
yeah, and they are witches, so they can fly. So basically, like Tanya, the saga of Tanya the Evil.
Not exactly. I mean, they literally are planes.
Right. All right.
They're not just flying like with magic. They just are planes. I think it's
And
maybe the dumbest concept for an anime ever.
well, we have
mean-
seen worse.
There's Kantai Collection where girls are boats, but I don't think in that series that like you just see a boat with a girl's face on the front, like you do in the opening of Luminous Witches, where you see a girl's face and then the back end of a plane right behind her. Like her face is just stapled onto the front of it.
Yeah.
And we only see them from angles that prohibit us from getting like a full view of the plane to see how exactly they're connected. Like, whoever's storyboarding it is taking care not to show that to us because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And here we got a twist. So instead of like this girl about this girl fighting like in the battlefield, it's about like a unit or like those who like who doesn't fit to be like in the battle. So like they do the best thing that anime can offer is singing and become an idol. So this one is the idol witches.
Right.
I think it is called literally called the idol witches as well.
What is the name of their group?
The name of like of the series, so they have like luminous witches or idol witches as the name.
Oh, is that an alternate title or something?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I know the Japanese name is Ongakutai, which I just figured meant luminous, but in Japanese. But I know maybe not, because ongaku means sound, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
hibike means sound, but ongaku
Hibike is-
also means sound.
all right.
I don't know. Singing, maybe it translates to singing witches. Whatever it translates to, I just wasn't interested. I mean, so I stopped at the halfway point, so I saw the board meeting where the one woman in the room, along with
Yep.
like 25 other men at that U-shaped table who were all like, somebody stop this girl from talking. She was talking about how she wanted to start up I don't know, a band or a musical group because it wasn't really explained that's just what she wanted to do because
Alright,
it was the thing to do.
I'm pretty sure that this band gonna like they gonna like tribute comfort to the battlefield, to the soldier who are
Right.
like in
Like
battle.
go on tour and go to army bases or military bases and stuff, right? And perform.
That's what I think the premise gonna be like. Yes.
Yeah, but during that proposal that she gives to the tribunal or whatever you would call that assortment of guys around the U-shaped tables,
Yep.
there's no real. She's just like, we just have to do this. This is just what people are doing, and we have to do this.
Yep.
It was just no real effort was put into. Like the show didn't really attempt to justify its premise. It's just like there's gonna be girls singing, and you don't want to miss it. So then
Uh,
I also saw the three girls meet up together. There's Ginny, the girl with the weird animal, nobody knows what it is, and
yep.
then the girl whose name sounds vaguely Russian and it's super long, no one can pronounce it. And then there's the Japanese girl, I think. Her name's Japanese at least, and she has the brown hair. They all met up, and in the middle of that conversation, I was like, I just, I turned it off. So that's as far as I got. Was there anything cool after that?
Right. So you miss the scene where that main girl, the one with the weird animal mascot, got to sing, and she sings so beautifully that like all the other girls get entranced, and it just so happened when the military girls pass by as well, and she like I'm up to be like, this is the girl that she want to recruit to her band, and that's the end of episode. So yeah, you don't miss much.
Well, hold on. So the military girls, the planes are
Yep.
do they fly overhead and hear the music, or are they just walking on the street?
No. They use public transport. So I think she was on the train at the time, and she hear the music. She hear
Okay.
the song that the other girl sings, and she
Well,
get
that's kind of boring.
entranced.
I
Well,
I would have much preferred it if they had been in plane form, flying overhead. Somehow they hear the song, because it just, like, uh, I don't know. Her voice has magical properties, and it just carries through the sky at a speed that even someone in a plane would hear. And then they're like, oh my god, she has the voice of a generation, and they like zoom down from the sky towards the ground and transform into regular girls in midair, and then like land on the ground, and they're like, we want to join your group. That would be fabulous. Would have loved that.
yeah. So I mean, like, in the context of Strike Week universe, having something like that is like a change of pace. So I kind of appreciate that, but like, in the context of like anime, where like the idols, you see the idols everywhere. It just like, it's kind of feel repeated. It's kind of like, doesn't offer anything fresh at all. And it's actually the studio is sharp,
Yeah,
and they
Shaft.
had done a lot of shit lately. Yeah. Well, when I bring up sharp, I just mean that I think the original Strike Week is from other studio, not by Sharp. And
I have no idea.
all right, it's by Gonzo of all the studios.
Well, didn't Gonzo go bankrupt, or are
Yeah,
they
they did.
still
They did. I
okay?
think they did. Yes.
They may have declared bankruptcy, but they might also be like lurking, like doing one show a season, or just doing like cleanup work, or handling outsourcing or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, that's so interesting because the sequels of Strike Week, it Brave Witches, and it's the studio is Silver Link. So like, there's like oh wow, and Strike Witches 2 is studio by AIC Spirits. So it's just all over
Well,
the
all
place.
this means is that whatever production company is responsible for, like producing, funding, and organizing the anime adaptations of this property, they just don't care who does it or how it gets done. They just want it for cheap. And
Yep.
different studios are bidding for the contract, and probably whoever submits the lowest bid just gets the job.
Yep. Wow, that's sad. That's sad to hear. So
I mean, that's
anyway, I
a
put
lot of
it.
anime ends up being made that way. You just forget about it. Uh,
Yep, that's
But
true.
we dug this one
And
up out of, out of the
I
basement.
agree. So I put it last as well, so 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that like we managed to get through this for show, because this is literally my last fault
I didn't
on
get
the
through these 4
first.
shows.
Oh, yes, that's right.
I only got through
But
3 of them.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
these are 4 of the worst.
the
We
good
got
thing,
better
the
stuff
good
up
news is
ahead.
that, yeah, that's right. The good thing is it's get better from now, hopefully. So the next one is Lycoris Recoil.
Right. This one I've forgotten a lot of details about, but I do remember enjoying it.
Yeah, I remember it. Sorry, I enjoy it quite a bit, and for me, it's just a fun premise to have. Like on this girl, I feel that like the pre OP scenes where we have like a narration of the girls saying that this is one of the safest country in the city in the world, and everyone just follow the rule, and we see the
A bunch of
video.
assassinations, right?
Yeah, that's right. That try to kill other people off screen. I just freaking in love with it.
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't know. What would you call it?
Propaganda. That's
Propaganda.
one.
Well, it's satirical, I guess. I was looking for a different word, but they're
Yeah.
sending up Japan's image of being like a super safe country, because people will say that all the time. Oh, Japan has like the lowest gun violence of any first world country or whatever. I have no idea, but I'm sure you've heard statistics like that Japan just has very, very low gun violence, and that it's a very safe place to live and stuff. The fact that this show is using that as, I don't know, ammunition seemingly for its plot, and being like, nope, no it isn't, ha, we got you,
Yep.
is pretty, it's pretty amusing. And I mean, there may even be like a political message underlying that, that the show intends to explore in the future. I don't know, like a political point of view saying that those statistics, whatever you've heard, maybe there aren't people carrying out assassinations in broad daylight, in order to manufacture those statistics and that perception of the country, but that it's not really that safe a place to be. And there was speculation about, after what happened to the former prime minister, that the show is going to get yanked off the air, because it's it's about, there are political assassinations in it, but it's still on the air. So what do you know?
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, how do you feel about these episodes? Like,
I thought it was good.
yeah,
I thought it was really fast moving. That's what I seem to remember. Is that
Right.
characters talk quickly, and the show also moves very quickly.
Yep.
There were times when I thought it was a little bit too fast. For example, Saudi, the woman who what do you call the girls who work at the cafe? They have a title, don't they? Are they called Lycorises, or what
Waitress.
is their
All
what?
right. The cafe is called Lycoris Recoil.
Right, but
Maybe. Yep.
they're
Yep.
just moonlighting, as,
Right.
or how do you use the word moonlighting exactly? Do you say that you moonlight as your real job, or you moonlight as your secret job? I can't remember. But in any case,
All right.
the cafe
Yep.
is just a cover. The fact that they're waitresses, that's just a cover. So what do
Yep.
you call their actual, what's their actual job title?
Yeah. Their
Are they
their
called like
actual
agents?
operation. Yeah.
Oh,
agent,
operatives?
But they act well. The actual job is just like helping out the locals.
That's what
I
that's
think-
what the synopses said coming into this season. When I would read the synopsis for the show, I would be like, oh, so they're just going to be helping people. And then there was something about like killing zombies and monsters. I had no idea what
Alright,
to
so
expect.
yep. So actually, like the girl who transferred into the unit, I don't know if we use her first name or last name. I just use her first name, Takina.
I wrote down that she was Takina.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, she actually expect like this organization to do something like more of like killing or like big stuff, basically big stuff. But Chisato, she just like in her mind just like go to locals. I think she go to local church. She go to the local Yasuka, and she just like make a deal and like basically trying to do goods for her communities. So like
Right.
her ideas of like how this operation runs is vastly different from how Takina imagined it to be, and it is unclear as well because like so far we don't know for sure what the operation does either.
Well, I think it's safe to assume that I've only seen the first episode of this. I haven't watched any farther than that. But I think it's safe to assume that they're not just going to be, like going to local elementary
Yeah,
schools
that's true.
and, you know, telling kids to be safe or whatever it is that they do, making deliveries.
Yeah. Yep.
There's
Yep.
some sort of broader plot. And there has to be, because there's a subplot running through this episode about there's something called the Allen Institute. The blonde-haired guy who comes in at the very end of the episode, we saw him previously in like a limousine talking to a hacker named Walnut on a phone
Yep.
call,
Yep.
and he ends up killing him by blowing up some bombs that were planted in
Yep.
a building. So there's
Mhm.
he's involved somehow in the political side of the country.
Yep.
He has some sort of
I
position
think
of
we
power.
I think we get pretty political later on because there are almost a lot of hints about like the political unrest. You see like the towers that now become like a symbol of peace, and it was like the result of like something that she's had done in the past. And
Oh yeah, I
I
do remember something about that tower. It looked like it had crystals all over it or something,
That's
didn't
right.
it?
That's right. Yeah, and
I don't know what the deal was with that exactly.
yeah, and it's always like looking in the background for us to see, like between the two characters talking, we see that in the background, and I do think that that is something that like that become a bad experience for Chisato, and that she pull out, and later on she just doing what she like.
Yeah, you do get the sense that she's kind of happy-go-lucky and that she's fulfilled by her job, but I have to imagine that that's probably a mask
Yep.
for how she actually feels.
Yep.
She's been
And
benched, basically. She was forced
yep.
into this job that she's doing right now, just like Takina was, because Takina messed up the hostage situation
Yep.
when she each shot all those guys.
Yep. That's right. And
So this is a place where these government operatives go, where they're sent after they screw the pooch on a mission.
Yeah, I do think so as well. And
So they'll probably, like, some episodes will be about them trying to make the best of it, but as we get further and further down the line, things will probably start to fall apart.
yeah, well, I think so as well. But I do like for episode how different the two girl approach when it comes to like having to save another person. So like Takina is using her friends as a bait to catch the attacker, where Chisato trying her best to protect the friends and try not to kill the enemies.
Right. Chisato's like, you got to respect all life. Talking is like,
Yep.
what are you talking about? We're literally assassins.
Yep. So I like the different approach for those, and they put some really good animation there as well. So
Yeah, I agree. You're talking about the scene where Chisato like storms the van in order
Yep.
to rescue
Yep.
Saori. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's pretty
So
interesting.
so all in all, I enjoy basically all of it. Like the premise, I think that it's fun to watch so far. It have like a good energy between different approach of Chisato and Takina, and it's hint into like something really serious later on. Maybe like the whole conspiracy things, the whole thing that maybe Takina will realize that the government she work under is not all like for good, and like I'm ready to be on board on that on that.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested in the show. It's pretty refreshing. It moves really quick.
Yeah.
It's and the animation can keep up. The characters keep up. So there's always something new, on screen. There's kind of a feel of propulsion to the episode, which is nice because it's easy to get bored or get sleepy watching anime
Yeah.
because you're reading,
So
like you're just sitting there, you're passively taking in the episode, and all your brain is really doing is reading and like decoding letters, putting them into words, and gaining meaning from them.
yep.
Kind of brain dead.
Yep. So how would you rank it?
I put it second.
I put it first.
All right.
The next one is the Seekers Make in the Beast season 2.
Right. Yeah. I forgot how weird and like perverted Made in Abyss was.
Yep.
And I had even rewatched Made in Abyss in preparation for the movie
All right.
because we talked about the movie in a particular episode, and I remembered the movie being messed up because Bondrewd
Yep.
is the main antagonist, and he's like really, he's gone off the deep end
Yep.
as a result of being in the pit in the abyss for so long. But this episode is like Bondrewd is an extreme case, whereas this episode is kind of just casually sick.
Yep. But it does have it's the make a very good job of reminding us how sick Make in the Beast always is, how perverted I think.
I guess, but it just made like it kind of took me by surprise a little bit.
That
Like I didn't really
yeah,
want
what
to open the episode with a monologue from a girl who
yep. Get abused.
recounts a story that her rapist used to tell her. Whenever he would force himself on her, he would always tell the same story, and she's like, "Well, now I'm going to tell it to you, listener.
Yep.
Now you're going to get to
that's
listen
true.
to it as well." I
Yeah.
don't,
But
I'm not really
Yeah,
interested.
yeah, well, I get the exact same feeling. So like just upon like first 5-7 minutes, I would feel like yeah, this is making the best. It just like it never forget to be like to get you sickened, and like to twist you, and like apart from that though, it's actually powerful. So far I feel powerful about her story and stuff.
I don't even remember much
So
about her story apart from that terrible aspect of it.
all right.
I mean, she has that
Yes.
compass.
So she's
We're talking about Vueko.
yeah.
I don't know how you say her name exactly, but that's how it's spelled.
Mhm.
She's got that compass, and wherever it points straight up, I think, is where she wants to go because there's going to be treasure there or something, or there's
Yeah.
like unlimited natural resources. It's a place that you can live peacefully.
All right. I think it's like it's a drift for like the Atlantic city. So they this the adventurers they wanted to reach the Atlantic cities, and they just end up in the abyss.
Well, yeah, they follow the compass because they're looking for a place to live, like a place to settle down.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think they're adventurers per se. They're all like, I don't know. They're just people without a home. They're like refugees, or
All right.
they're looking for a place to be. And they decide on the location that this compass is pointing to as their destination. And so for half the episode, they're the main characters. We follow them rather than Riko or Regu or Nanachi.
Yep.
They only show up halfway through. I really like that idea, like because it opening season 2 on completely different characters makes makes the world of the show bigger, and it makes the allure of the abyss that much more evident, because it's not only our main characters who want to descend to the bottom of it, and it's not only the people already in the abyss who are in search of something amazing in the abyss. It's people coming from all over, from different like parts of the world, different islands, different continents, crossing the sea to get here. And you're like, oh man, this is bigger than I even imagined. But the thing is, I don't really like these new characters because the stories that they're all tied up in are kind of gross, and I don't know. I just not super happy with that.
Cool. All right. And I just before we get into that, I feel that the match cut between the outcast entering in that world, and then we got match cut to Rico and Rek, coming out of the on the end. I think that was pretty cool.
Coming out of the other end of what? You mean of that pod that they're in that descends through the water cylinder?
Yeah, that's right. So it's a change in narrative between these the new cast and back to Rico and Energy, and I thought that cut was pretty cool.
Yeah. So I don't remember that particular moment, but are you talking about their entrance into that little sphere?
Yep.
Yeah.
So on the new characters, we got to see Vuelo. So it's from her point of view. We got to see like a guy kind of like the hero type, Bilaf.
Right.
And the captain.
He's the guy who she has a long conversation with on the boat, right?
Yeah, that's right. And we see the captain Wazukian with he's a bit eccentric as well. And then they recruit one of the local there. I think see the cast over as well. So that's why these people have like a really like a good bond to her. So we got like the 4 main characters there.
Yeah, and I just not really interested. Like, I hope that they cross paths with Rico and Regu sooner rather than later. Honestly, I would consider it an extremely ballsy, like an admirable move for them to tell their stories in isolation, like for a long time before bringing them together, like at the end of the second season. I would be under normal circumstances, I would be all in for that. But I just kind of want to get away from the scenes where it's just them, because everything having to do with this native girl that they've picked up turns my stomach a little bit.
All right.
Like, she's been branded as infertile, like she can't have children, despite the fact that she's a child herself. Like, how would they know that?
Yep.
That is disgusting to think about.
Right.
So
all right. I didn't even think
I just
about that. All right.
Just kind of makes me a little sick.
Good point pointing that out to me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Jeez.
If I'm gonna
Yeah.
suffer, people are gonna suffer with me.
Yeah, well, I watch a bit more episode after this, so I don't know in which way it ends in this episodes.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. How does this episode end? I don't. Oh, it ends with them like after Rico and Regu and Nanachi, they get out of that little sphere, and they
yep,
exit, and then they walk for a little bit, and then they're talking to each other about whatever, and then Rico has to go poop,
yep.
and then they eventually
Good
they
sound effect
reach.
there.
Yeah. she eventually They eventually reach a point in, I think they're in the sixth layer now, is that right?
Right,
They
right.
reach
Yeah,
a
the
point where
sequence.
they're confronted with like an amazing sight. Like there's a whole bunch of light filtering down from above, and there's like a bunch of golden stuff. Um,
Mhm.
and they're like, "Wow, we've made it! We've arrived!" And then that's the end of the first episode.
Right. And I do remember that the narration saying that they didn't know that it's like the point of no return or something.
Yeah,
Right.
something like that. Well, I mean, every point in the abyss is the point of no return, isn't it? Because
Yep.
of the sickness, you
Yep.
can't ascend once you go below a certain point,
Yep.
unless you have like a particular relic or something, which they
So
may already
yeah.
have, because they've got relics, right? Like Rico has a white whistle, which is made of
Krushka.
Nanachi's. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
No.
Bondrud's like adopted daughter.
Yeah. Is it a relic though? I
I
just
guess
thought.
not. I don't know.
Yeah, I just thought that this kind of like a yeah, what that white visual, like uh what they do again, the white visual.
What the white whistles do, I don't really remember. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
don't remember either, but yeah,
Isn't
some
it just
people
a
think
sign that you're allowed to go below a particular
uh
level, like a particular
yeah,
whatever?
I'm not too sure either. I will need to check on that, the white visual.
But I mean, I don't doubt that it has, hers in particular would have some sort of special power, probably.
Yep. Yep. Alrighty. So yeah, I still enjoy it a bit. Uh, it reminds me of not so good thing about like what I don't like about in the Beast, but like I will praise it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't honestly, I don't really like, feel, I don't enjoy being so turned off by the series,
Yep.
because in general, there are a lot of people who will approach anime and be like, oh my God, this is just so, I can't handle this. Like there's too much fan service. There's too much, like there's hints, they tease towards incest and a bunch of other shit that's culturally unacceptable to me. I just can't handle this. Anime is too weird and
Mhm.
perverted, and in general, I try to avoid that attitude at all costs because I'm dealing with stuff that's coming out of another country. It is stemming from another culture that I don't completely understand, and so it doesn't give me any pleasure to be like, oh man, Made in Abyss is kind of nasty. But I don't remember feeling this particular way about any of the stuff in the first season. I mean, the first season's fucked up, but I just feel differently this time around. I don't know. Um,
Right. Yeah.
Probably because Bondrewd and everything that he was about, he was like, he was single-mindedly obsessed with his own thing. I don't know. Obviously, there were like weird elements, like weird sexual elements to the kind of experiments that he would perform, but it seemed to be that he was in pursuit of something much greater than that.
Yep.
Whereas some of the stuff having to do with these new characters that have been introduced, it seems like the sex stuff is a little too upfront, and it does make me
Right.
uncomfortable. But I
All
think what
right.
I'll do is marathon, season 2. Wait until it's all out and marathon it, and then that sort of repeated exposure, um, you know, I'll just get used to it or whatever.
All right, but it's just a flashback though, so I think it just maybe it just meant that to like create the characters, not not like something that we have to see all over again in this series.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hopefully,
Yeah.
not.
I mean, I hope so. I mean, I'm not under the impression that we're gonna experience that flashback over and over or anything. I'm just saying the series is coming on pretty strong here.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel bad about saying that or any of this because I like to just kind of take anime as it comes. You know what I mean? It's not my job to be like a watchdog, but I'm a little uncomfortable over here.
Right. All right, so I rank it second out of 10.
For me, it was number 3.
Yep. Fair enough. I'm interested in the next show that we're gonna talk about. So
Right.
hope
Yeah, another Shaft series.
Another Shaft series, RWBY Ice Queendom.
Mm-hmm.
So
so I didn't know anything about RWBY coming into this. I mean, I knew that it was a Rooster Teeth thing, and it was like 3D CG, I think.
Yep.
And there were 4 girls.
From way back, like in 2013, so like almost 10 years ago, about 4 girls.
I thought it was older than that.
Yeah. Well, it very recently actually, but you only watched the first episode, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you've probably seen the first 3 since, or maybe even more. I don't know, but definitely the first 3 since it was pre-aired.
Yep.
All 3 of them together.
Yep. So
and you also have seen a little bit of RWBY, or even maybe a lot of it, haven't you? Before this,
that's right. I have seen a lot of the original RWBY,
right.
the RWBY in English. So, speaking in English, so this is like the Japanese renders of RWBY. And
dude, when are we getting an Avatar: The Last Airbender anime? That's what I want to know.
I think that might happen in the future.
Oh,
but
God.
Avatar will get like sequel or something, right?
Yeah, it's stuff. There's like movies being produced, and there's going to be a sequel series and everything. Yeah, I don't know how excited I am for that, but I'd be interested to see what Japan does with it. So what did Japan do with this? What did you? How did they compare?
Right.
I guess.
All right, so a bit of a background on this episode alone, because this one is based on the 4 promotional trailers on the characters before the series begins.
Before the English series began.
Before the English series begins, so we have like a sort of like teaser of like all of the 4 main characters in 4 different teasers. About like 30 seconds or 1 minute long. That basically Sharp think that's a good idea to make to combine all this into this 4 episodes. So this is kind of like introducing 4 characters, like in more details before the actual series begins in the original series. So
Right.
Episode 1 is where everything begins. Episode 2 is where everything begins.
Yeah, it's where it starts adapting the original series.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do I think about this episode alone is that I feel that they change a bit of RWBY characters, and I don't like the direction. I feel that RWBY, the characters in the original series, is more confident. She's confident about herself, and she doesn't have like this type of second guessing herself that much.
Did you really feel like RWBY in this series was not confident? I mean, she was overshadowed by her older sister, but when she's fighting the guys in that store and she unleashes her whatever it's called, like her special move that lets her teleport, she's like badass, man. She's beating all those guys down, and she knows that that she can win that fight.
Yeah. All right. So I was a bit wrong. The first thing that start in the original RWBY series is the one that in that store, in that rock store. It's not a rock store. In the it's something store. So
Yeah,
the
it has to do with like the magic system of Ruby. It's like they're
yeah
crystals or
the
something.
dust, right?
Yeah,
So
dust. I think
the
that's it. Yeah.
yeah, the very first thing that happened in the original series is the blowing up of that dust store, and
And
and Ruby
is she
just
the one who
appeared
makes it?
as yeah as 7 day. So she's much more badass in the original series than this. But
Yeah.
yeah,
We get to see that
I,
side of her
I
in this episode, I think. I thought it was fine.
all right. How do you find about these characters? Because I think this is more like the character focus episodes on introducing the four main characters.
Yeah, we just get a little bit of context about each of them before they cross paths,
Yep.
because they're all accepted at the same magic school, Beacon Academy.
Mm-hmm.
What did I think? I mean, I thought it was all right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like Ruby.
Yep.
I think Yang is like a little bit too much of a supportive and caring older sister. I would like to see her try to be a little bit more independent, I guess, and not cling to Ruby so much, because she doesn't have this. She doesn't seem to have much going on. Like in isolation.
Yep.
Weiss, I think, is. I don't know. I'm a little tired of children trying to prove themselves to their parents. In just storytelling in general. But she does get a really cool series of like fight sequences.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's neat, I guess. And she's like an ice princess. You know, she's kind of haughty and holier than thou.
Yep.
Which is a decent character trait to build on and chip away at. As she makes new friends and stuff. But Blake is my waifu.
Yep.
She's the best. Right. And everybody else can just jump off a cliff as long as she lives.
Right.
I don't care what else happens. She's the coolest.
All right.
Her octopus arm
say
power thing that she has, I don't understand how it works, but it's awesome. She's also like only half human or not human or something. I don't quite understand how that works. But it gives her like an air of mystery, and even though she's like living life on the edge of society, she's still socially capable. When she comes to this new school, she's able to like talk to people. So overall, like she's the best. That's all there is to it.
All right. All right. I agree with you on all this. For me, Wise is my favorite characters. This is like one of the very few series that I legitimately like all the four main characters. It's just a matter of liking one character a bit more than the others. So I like Wise. I like Yang. I Yang a bit less than the other four does.
Yeah, and, same with me. The Weiss stuff where she was like, I'm going to prove to you, father and brother, that I can beat this weird monster thing. Did that make sense to you?
Yep. All right. So it's come to my main complaints.
Okay.
Because all right. So this is the last time that I will bring up the original series, but the original series is especially the first season, it's just a bunch of short as well. So I think it's got like 7-8 episodes, but like the length is like just 5-10 episodes. So it's like it's just a scatter shot, and we see we follow the point of view of Ruby before we met these guys, and at the end of the first season, we get to know Wise and Play and Yang a bit more, but we don't know about their backstory yet. So when it revealed later on that Wise having like family issue and Plague is secretly the uprising,
the White Fang.
It make much more impact. The White Fang. It's make much more impact to me than this. because it feel like for Flake, I think they successfully, give us her side of story before she joined in the group. But for like what happened with Wise is a bit, like for me overdone. And we
I kind of
don't,
got that sense, yeah, that it was a little bit
yeah,
too much of like, watch me, Dad.
yep,
I will
yep,
inherit the family title or whatever.
yep. Because
I
the first impression we got of the character do change by this, because of what we see in Wise in the original series at first is like she's like a perfect uphold, sort of perfectionist student. And then we learn about she having issue with like her dad, and we see like it don't make sense. But this though, it more like, she tried to prove herself a bit too much.
well yeah, I basically agree, but the thing that really stops it from working for me is that I don't understand the nature of the conflict or the disagreement between her and the rest of her family. I get that her, you know, her brother probably wants to be the one to inherit whatever.
Yep.
He wants to be the person who carries on the family name and becomes the head of the family.
Yep.
And her dad probably favors the son rather than the daughter, just based on
She's
how doubtful he is that Weiss can do
she
this.
does
She's the older one,
yeah
right?
she does have her, yeah, have her older sister though. Remember that? So like
I don't.
when
Did we
she
learn anything
tried,
about an older sister?
yeah, in the episode, yes. So when she tried to do the challenging thing, she said to her dad and her sister, her older sister, which is her name is Winter.
I don't. I only
Uh,
remember a brother.
yeah, so a brother come first, and then I this is the sister is the one that standing next to the father when she was doing the test.
Okay, I don't even remember that character existing, but
Yep.
I'm.
Uh,
I get the general nature of the dispute between her and the rest of her family, but I just there's not enough context for me to like really
yep.
want her to succeed and be like, man, I really hope that she gets to be the main dude in this family. There just wasn't. It was like they hinted a lot at the family dynamics, and they were just like, have this major fight scene, and that
Yep.
was it for her.
Yep. Yeah, that's good
So
enough though.
she was
But
kind of like her scenes were kind of like the weak point, I guess.
mhm.
I mean, but the episode doesn't have just one weak point. I mean, some of the backgrounds are really
What are the
bad,
other weak
like
points?
terrible.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
like the exterior shots we get of the city where that building is that Ruby goes to, like the dust store in that city. It just looks terrible. Like
Yep.
no, the streets are empty. The layout of the city is just hideously bland and like sterile. It looks like a model that somebody built,
Yep.
and a camera being like set on the model's level, and you getting a look at it that way, rather than feeling like a city that people could occupy. Because there's hardly anybody walking around in it. The stores are all like in perfect lines. None of them have any. They're not distinguished from each other.
Mhm. Yep.
And there there are many other issues. Most of the interior backgrounds are also like just made of pre-generated assets. I did think that there were some
Yep.
really pretty looking exterior scenes, but those were like
Right.
few and far between. I just
Mhm.
not impressed with the way that the series looks overall, I guess.
Yep.
Like there were some really flashy fights and like character special moves and stuff. I was like, dude, this is awesome. Ruby
Yep.
doing all of her stuff, jumping around and
Yep.
like teleporting, and that massive gun that she has. She's the one with the gun, right?
No, it's not the gun that she has. She had the
Is it a
thing that
bow?
it's not a bow either. Do you mean Ruby
Ruby,
or
yeah. What is
Blake?
it?
All right, it's
Blake's
the
the one with like the weird octopus arm
right.
gun. Blake has the gun.
It is the thing that the devil always use. Oh shit.
A trident?
It's not a trident. Sorry, it's
Pitchfork?
the scale thing. That's this scale thing. The hold on, I'm thinking of the words now. So
I have no
the
idea what you're talking about.
yeah. Hold on. I'd be there.
Anyway, her weapon was cool.
Oh,
and I
that's
just
super
remembered.
cool, yes.
I just remember what her. It's like a semblance. That's what it's called. Your special move that lets you like teleport with her cape and stuff. It's called a semblance.
Yep.
That was neat.
The Skype.
Skype?
How do you spell that? This.
Oh, scythe.
This.
A scythe. Yeah, it's a scythe.
Right.
Do you know anything
And,
about Pokemon?
All right, I know.
Do you know Scyther?
All right, yeah.
The bug, Scyther, the Pokemon that has two scythes for its arms?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, that's how you could remember. There's a
Right.
bug Pokemon that has two scythes. You know, they're those curved blades.
Right.
And it's a bug, and it has those for arms, and it's called Scyther.
Right.
So that's how you can remember that they're called scythes.
All right.
But yeah, I do remember now that she has that, and she twirls it in circles and stuff. That's the movement that I was like extremely vaguely remembering there. Yeah, it's cool.
The
Fight scenes are cool.
The thing that's so cool about RWBY the series, all the characters' weapon is that they can still use as a rifle or gun as well. So this is the side who can work at a rifle at the same time.
Oh, then I was right. She
So
does have a gun.
Yeah. So she shoot she did shoot something out of her weapons. So yes. So
Okay.
I think that's so cool. and some of the other as well. So I think Ruby used Scythe and Wise used the source. That that can train that can train the energies by on the dust or something
Right.
along the line, and pledge you is something very, very cool as well. I don't remember.
I remember Blake's thing. She has a gun that also has like a giant arm that
Yep.
can extend and retract and like grab stuff. And,
Yeah, all right. Yep.
and she wears like a giant bow.
Yep.
But she has like a really serious persona.
Mm-hmm. So I guess if you like it, you can watch episode 2 where the four main girls join in together as a group.
I already did watch episode 2.
And that's pretty cool, right?
No,
I-
I didn't. I have already forgotten
like it
everything
at all?
about it. No,
Oh god. All right.
I forgot everything
That's
about it. I remember them being in that little sky ship or whatever that's taking them to the academy, and they're all talking
Yep.
and getting to know one another. And I was like, man, this is boring.
All right.
I don't really like this. None of this dialogue is really interesting to me. It just feels like a web series. It feels like a bunch of characters going to high school, like a magic high school, in a web series, and there being like a popular girl and a quiet girl. And
Okay.
when all the characters actually came together, I was like, nah, man, we got to
Alright.
get past this introduction stage real fast, because this is feeling like something that was written by people who didn't make it in Hollywood as television writers and are just like consigned to web content for the rest of their lives.
All right. Episode 3 is where the original content are filling. So yeah, it is a weird adaptation for me. That's for sure.
I'm okay with an adaptation not just being there. We've had so many anime that like people can track exactly how many chapters per episode there are, and it's just like a mathematical. I don't know. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it feels like way too regimented. And people will
All
be
right,
like,
but
well, at the current pace that the anime is moving, it's going to reach volume 8 of the manga at episode 16.
yeah. But the thing is, do you feel like the whole thing a bit quick, or is that just about right to you?
For episode 1, I thought it, it
Yeah.
was, we got the introduction of all the characters. They all did their own thing, except for Yang, because she's just like clinging on to her little sister. And then they all go to the school, and I was like, okay, this feels pretty normal. We've established who all the main characters are. We've learned a little bit about the world they inhabit, and now they're all together.
Yeah.
Where are we going from here? That seems
Yeah.
pretty normal to me.
All right, cool then. Do you have the issue with Yang and Ruby not looking exactly like each other?
Well, they're not actually. They're only like stepsisters or half sisters, right?
Yeah, they are half sister. I think they have the same father.
They reference that in the first episode.
Yep, yep, yep. All
I
right.
mean, the dad doesn't like look into the camera and say, "These two girls were born from different women." Like it's nothing like that. But there's just some little line in there that hints at it or says it. I got it.
All right, cool. All right, so what rank that you put on this?
For the first episode, in isolation, 4th out of 10.
All right, I put that's 6 out of 10.
Alrighty.
Cool. The next one is Summertime Render.
Oh god, we still have a bunch of these to do. 3.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Summertime Render. Episode 13.
Yep. So
Because that was
this
the next one after the last episode we talked about was the 12th.
Yep.
In a previous, podcast episode. So now we got number 13 here, and the show just continues to basically make up rules as it goes along, I feel. There's a whole bunch of stuff about like her data, like Ushio's data being full. So she can't make any more replicas of whatever or absorb any new materials or something because her storage space is limited. When I saw that, I was just like, why are we operating on video game logic now?
And I do think that at one point Hane will catch up with Shinpei, especially when she leave a Mac, or as she says, she branded Shinpei. So
Right, he's got the
I think,
handprints on his arms. Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's good that it's get out of hand now. So it just they actually review it, and like whenever Shinpei will go back to Hane will be there as well. So I'm glad that like they get it out of the table now, so that it's gonna be a real challenge for this one to to work with the knowledge that Hane and that 4M guys will be there.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how they'll manage to fool them, since whenever they respawn after a loop, they will automatically know their location. I don't really get it, because the forearm guy is obviously more powerful than everyone, so can't they just immediately move to their position and kill them just infinitely? I don't really understand.
Well, and the 4M guys actually have no data at all according to Ushio, so that's another breaking the rules here.
Right,
but,
and he can't be stopped when you shoot 3 projectiles into his shadow. Another violation of the rules. Yeah. I mean, I do think it's good that that the antagonists be threatening, and that they kind of throw a wrench into the protagonist's plan, because that that makes it more dramatic and it makes the story more interesting. A few more twists and turns. All that sounds good to me, but I don't know. We got half the episode left to go, and it's pretty obvious that whatever the solution is to the forearm guy's dominance and Haine's, all-seeing eye, it's probably going to come through Ushio, the magic watch, who will discover a brand new power, which will allow them to elude the antagonists, the villains. They'll be able to get away, and you know,
Yeah.
they'll be able to empty her storage space somehow, so that she can, I don't know, make copies of guns and
Yeah.
give them to all their allies.
The
Just
yeah, and actually, yeah, we get established to other rules of new rules of Ushio as well, because he can remember the thing that he copied from previous time loop
mhm.
as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she's
Oh
just
god.
a data bank, so she carries it over
Yeah.
whenever she moves to a new. I mean, Shinpei does too. He carries his memories,
So
and that would be just data, really.
yeah. Remember last time I thought that this is I suppose that this is gonna be the last loop, so I didn't really thought that this loop gonna be ended so soon.
Yeah.
This soon.
So we're already on to the sixth one now, right? Because there was a
Yeah,
little
that's
card at
right.
the start of this episode giving the date, which I think was July 22nd, and then
And
fifth loop.
yeah,
Um,
and this loop though they're not going back, but they actually going like further into Hizuru's memories.
right. Yeah, that also seemed like a pretty big convenience to me. But the
That's
whole
right.
idea of everything being data, her memories would also be data. How exactly he's accessing them and why at this particular point, I don't know. But that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And now we're going to learn about Hizuru and Haine, because they had some
Yeah.
sort of relationship. We know this already, and we know that Ryunosuke dies like really gruesomely
Yeah.
in the forest. And the forest is how you get to this clinic where we can see Haine in the window. So it's pretty clear that whatever happened to Ryunosuke, Haine, she was the one who did it, or she had a hand in it somehow. And that's why Hizuru wants to kill her.
Yeah, I'm a bit curious about Hizune best friend, because I don't know who she is in this current time.
Hizuru's, yeah. I don't think I do either. Is she
Yeah,
part of the
so
family that runs the clinic?
I have absolutely no idea. So, but I do think that she might be like one of the factor behind like the traitor, so to speak.
Yeah, it's possible that she could even be the one to kill Ryunosuke, I guess.
Yeah,
Like doing Heine's bidding, or we could even get a scenario where she thinks that Heine wants her to kill Ryunosuke because he could be a threat somehow, and then she kills him and is like, "Well, Heine wanted me to do it," and then that
yeah,
sets up, the Hizuru's quest for revenge, even though that wasn't actually Heine's intention. I mean, the story could go in multiple ways from here, I guess. But it's we already know that Ryunosuke is dead, so that has to be a point
yeah,
that we pass somewhere on this flashback before we get back to the real world,
yeah,
if any of this is even real at all,
yeah.
because it could be one
Another
giant simulation.
another unknown factor is Shinpei family's parent as well,
Yeah,
because
he sees his
they
mom and dad. So how long ago is this flashback?
yeah, that's right. It's it at the time that his brothers died, so I think it's about like maybe 15 years or 10 years ago. Not sure though. Yeah,
Yeah, so Shinpei is alive at this point in time. He's just not in any of these scenes because his parents are working. I have to assume that he's alive because he's not that
that's
much younger
correct.
than Hizuru.
Yeah, that's right. That I think that's correct. And and I do think that their parent passing away is having something to do with this event as well. So they might learn something else.
Are his parents dead?
Yeah, they dead,
Okay, I
and
forgot that.
as we learn in this, yeah, as we learn in, that's why Shinpei have been living with the Kofune's families
Oh
for a
yeah,
while, for
that's
many years.
right. That's why Mio
Yeah,
and Ushio are
and
like his adopted sisters, basically.
that's right, that's right, and we learn from this episode that they are like a submariner or something, or diver or something
They're
that
like
have
marine
to,
biologists, yeah,
right.
or something
So,
like that.
and we do see that it's maybe leading them into like the secret base. So that's something that remains to be seen.
Oh, so that's how they're going to die, is they're going to go underwater and find that cavern where Heine
Yeah,
is.
that's what I think.
Probably. Yeah. Well, looks like we figured it out. No need to watch the remaining 12 episodes. Especially now that the OP and ED have changed for the worse.
Is it? I didn't get the chance to watch them in full though, so it's not that.
What do you mean you didn't get a chance?
I'm more focused on the episode itself. So
they're part of the episode. Plus,
I'm
watching the OP and
like,
ED, like the OP is always where all the good animation lies, and the ED is usually where the alternative art style comes in. So for me, those are the two most interesting looking parts of any anime episode. Because most anime episodes, putting those two parts aside, kind of look bad.
All right, I have one good reason not to watch the OP and EDs is because they might get spoiled details in the OPs, and I don't want to get spoiled, especially
that's the price you got to pay for good animation, man.
For a show like Summertime Renders.
Well, didn't we already just map out the entire rest of like the next 2 or 3 episodes? We're geniuses, obviously. So show's not going to surprise us.
All right, I think this is it still keep me interested. So I still put that 4 out of 10.
Number 5 for me.
Okay. All right, the next one, I think I know where you put it now, is Yofukashi no Uta, or Core of the Night.
Right. Yeah. I didn't expect much out of this show.
Right.
At all.
Yep. I didn't either, but it just me. This is like this have sharp influence the most out of the all 10 shows. It's even like more sharp than these sharp shows that we talk about.
Well, the director formerly worked on the Monogatari series.
Yep. I got that 5 as well.
But I don't know. I don't know if I did. I mean, there's vampires in it, or a vampire, I should say. There will probably be more vampires in the future. There's been a lot of vampire anime over the last couple years. But this is the best one, I think. At least judging from the first episode. It's very. I don't really think it is very much like Shaft. Shaft series are not typically very moody. They don't have a lot of atmosphere to them. They're more like kind of quirky and off kilter a little bit. Maybe a little bit distracted or hyperactive. This one is
off kilter, all right.
I mean, the premise is certainly off kilter, but don't you think that this series is like totally awash in like a subdued and kind of calming atmosphere? All the scenes of him walking around at night, like all the color work on the like of the city and the night sky. I think some of its quirkiness comes in the form of its direction. A lot of shots that feel a little bit tilted or a little bit weighted on one side of the frame. But I don't think that overpowers the general, like there's almost a gentleness to the episode. Just walking around, there's kind of a peaceful quality to it. Like you encounter a couple salarymen on the street, one of them barfs all over your shoes. But it's chill, man. That's just life out on the street at night, you know? In another anime, he would like start freaking out, and there would be a whole thing for like 2 or 3 minutes. He would get into it with the old guy. This time it's just like, let's just keep moving on.
Yeah.
She pushes him off a building. He's like, oh, I guess I'm going to die now. Yeah. I'm just too chill to worry about that too much.
I do think that the premise is not that original, especially in this medium. But the execution of that, like the thing that you say, like it create the moody piece, and just the short the short angles of some of those scenes, I think it just like pitch perfect for me.
Yeah, there's some ultra wide shots of him walking
Yep.
down the street at night. There's some fisheye lens shots that feel like kind of claustrophobic as well.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
it's a
That's
real
right.
mix, like a real mix of visual ideas, but it nevertheless feels like a singular thing, like just one
Yep.
package.
Yep.
So
I
I
still
I think that's hard to pull off.
That's right, and I still got a bit, very much of Monogatari vibe on this as well. But apart from that, though, it also sell uh, the the main chemistry between Koe and Nezuma, uh, the two main characters.
I forgot their names. I didn't write them down.
Yep.
Um, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I mean, the final scene is really what makes their relationship interesting to me. Is that even though she's like a vampire and wants to suck blood and all that,
Yep.
she also wants him to come away from his experience out for a night stroll with like something new, something to really kind of expand his mind. That's why she takes him on that flight
Yep.
at the end.
Yeah.
That I think is kind of makes her a more interesting character. Kind of makes me more interested in how he'll respond to her character, being so strange
Yeah.
and out of left field, I guess.
And
Without that scene, I feel like it's a little bit. I don't know. I just feel like the episode doesn't really land as well.
yeah. Well,
So that's
it I think that scene served like a really good punchline for like for both these two characters. Uh, she did explain something about sucking the blood and not turning him into vampire.
yeah. I think you have to be in love. Like
Oh
the
yeah,
the
you have to
human
be in
has to
love.
be in love with the vampire when the blood is sucked in order for them to turn into a vampire, and so he wants
Yeah,
that to
right.
happen because he's
Yep.
just so disillusioned with real life and he's so confused
Yeah.
about the girls at his middle school and stuff like that.
Yep.
So he's like, "Oh, please turn
And
me into a vampire. I'm tired of this human existence."
yep. And she got flustered because of like the idea of feeling in love is something strange to her.
Yeah, I don't know
I thought
how
that
I
was
feel
fun.
about that really. She's a vampire. I would like her to be a little less hesitant and a little less unsure of herself, I guess. But it
Yeah,
works.
I
It doesn't like
yeah,
destroy the character or anything.
yeah. I thought that was well done actually because when she talked about I think sex or something, she doesn't get flustered at all. But the idea of like falling in love is like trigger her. So I like that.
Yeah. Well, it certainly gives the future episodes of the show, and I mean the anime itself, a foundation to build on. He wants to work towards being in love with her, whereas she will probably want to work against it, or she'll like tiptoe up to the line where she's going to be like encouraging him to fall in love with her and then back away from it. So there's going to be a tension there automatically, which
Yeah,
is good. You need some sort of tension like that in order to tell a story, at
yeah,
least a story with more than one character in it.
yeah. The
So the fact that that's built in is pretty handy for the team working on it.
Yeah, the thing I'm more concerned is like how the story goes from here because this one feel like a really self-contained episode.
Yeah.
So the only thing that promise in the future is that these two characters gonna spend more time and maybe fall in love with each other.
Right.
And is it gonna be justified enough to guarantees like to not run out of steam in 12 episodes?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the direction is strong enough.
Yep, I
Of
agree on
course,
that.
every episode, of an anime is typically directed by a different person. So episode 2 won't feel exactly like episode 1. Same for 3, etc.
Mm.
But I mean, if the series director had anything to say about this first episode and their influence will be felt going forward, then I think the show is just knows what sort of tone it wants to achieve, and that's evident right up front. So, yeah, I mean, regardless of what the quote unquote plot is, I think the series has a strong enough blueprint, just in terms of its production, its construction, the characters. And more characters will be introduced. There will be side characters. There will probably be a human girl who's interested in the main guy, or perhaps a human girl that he's interested in. And then there will be like a little love triangle, but it won't be a typical anime love triangle where there has to be a winner and a loser. Rather, it'll be for comedic purposes, and then we'll get more vampire characters introduced. There will probably be a werewolf making an appearance at some point, if I had to guess. And then you just end it on a note like, I'm not, maybe I don't meet the qualifications for turning into a vampire. Maybe our relationship isn't like perfect romantic love, but I still love you, in one way or another. And we can be night crawlers together. We can be friends. We can be two people who hang out and enjoy each other's company. And they all lived happily ever after.
I wish they had more story than this.
Well, I mean, what do you want? Do you want it to be Hellsing Ultimate, where a vampire is helping a secret organization fight against England, or like what?
Nah, not that.
There doesn't have to be a story.
Yeah, well, yep. All right.
It's just like a silly supernatural comedy.
Okay, cool enough for me, because if this first episode is any indication, the direction is just top notch. So it can if everything look good, and I'm interested in the visual, so why the hell not?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has a clear personality right off the bat. That's pretty rare.
Yep, agree on that. So I put it third out of 10. So you put
right, for me it was number 1.
Yep. Alright, so on to the last show is the original show from Science Saru, Yurei Deco.
Yeah. And specifically, it's from the director of Super Shiro. His name is Tomohisa Shimoyama. And I was really hoping that this was going to be like a big breakthrough for him, but based on the first episode, I don't think so.
I still enjoyed the first episode well enough. I guess that it still build like a for me a believable world that a bit of a mix between this is like the words that have no crime, right? And it's because everything is so stable that our main character want to look for something more like legendary, so that's why she chasing a Phantom Zero.
Right.
And in the process that she see this abnormally who cannot see by any other people except her broken eyesight, so that she chase him around.
Yeah.
And this episode is supposed to be
him? Is it a guy? The hacker that she's chasing?
I don't know what gender they are.
Yeah.
All right.
Me neither.
That's a good point.
I have no idea. But regardless, she's chasing around a hacker who has a really annoying manner of speech.
That's right. And
do you remember all the weird, silly willy, fishy wishy stuff that they were saying?
Yep.
I feel really bad for the translator, the subtitler of this episode, trying to figure out how to get whatever strange Japanese quirks they have. Trying to figure out a way to express that in English, because I mean, the job they did I was not satisfied with, but how can I blame them? Even if you just close your eyes and listen to what they're saying in Japanese, it makes no fucking sense. So you can tell without knowing Japanese that they're just insane. They're an insane person.
Yeah. This based on the title of the episode, it's maybe based on the adventure of Tom Sawyer. Do you know about the source material? Because I have no idea about Tom Sawyer at all.
I've
Or
read a
how?
little bit of the Adventures of Tom Sawyer, yeah, and Huckleberry Finn. They're
Yeah.
like they're kind of like standard American childhood stories. They're for like
Right.
they're not like bedtime stories that you read to a 5-year-old, but they're books that are read by like 10 and 12-year-olds probably.
Yep. Is there any
Um,
reference on Tom Sawyer in here that you can
I
see?
well, I mean the city is named Tom Sawyer, but apart from that, no. I mean
Right.
it's not as though I'm an expert like I'm an expert on Tom Sawyer or Huck Finn. I've read
Mhm.
them. I've read parts of them rather. I haven't read the whole thing because they were published as a bunch of individual stories featuring those characters. At least Tom Sawyer was. Uh,
Yep.
but no, I am not picking up on any connections yet. I'm sure there are some.
Mhm. Right.
That's about.
It's been a
I
while.
mean,
Yeah, it's been a while though, so let me remember what else in this episode.
it's
Yeah,
mostly the main
they
character following the hacker around the city, and there's.
yeah.
I mean, of course, there's also the scenes that are closer to the opening that establish what kind of world this is. Like, there's the scene where the main character's in class with two
Yep.
other people, and you know they're not paying attention, and they're swapping stories about Phantom Zero and other like supernatural phenomena and stuff. And the teacher is like, "You have to pay attention so that you can get good grades, so you can get a good job, so you can make lots of money, so you can be a productive member of society." Like the anti conformist tone of the series is so glaringly obvious.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me sad that
Right.
it's that it is it really doesn't seem to offer anything new in this particular field.
Yeah. Well,
Everything having love readings, which is like social media likes. It's just I don't know, man. There's not really the show's
I
obviously it's not in favor of a technocratic world where everybody just sits back and lets their existence be overrun by measures of digital engagement. But don't people already feel that way in real life? Like, don't a
yeah,
majority of people, even people who are obsessed with social media, don't they recognize the damage that social media can do? And aren't we all pretty much on board with what Yurei Deco has to say? I just don't
yeah, the
feel like there's any edge to what I'm watching.
all right. The love rating though is like an episode in Black Mirror, right? Oh,
Yeah.
have I don't know if you watched that episode. Yes, but it's
I think I probably have. I've seen a bunch of Black Mirror. I've forgotten a bunch of
yeah,
it too, but yeah.
yeah.
Is it the
So
wedding one?
yeah, the wedding one. I
Yeah.
remember the title is Nosedive,
Okay.
and
I vaguely
yeah.
remember the wedding. Like the wedding is an opportunity for a bunch of people to take selfies
Mm,
and boost their own presence online.
yeah.
Yeah, I just
So
and it goes a different place from there. Doesn't the main character end up in jail or something?
yeah, she embarrassed herself in that speech. So she just instead of doing the speech that make her popular, she just like say exactly what she thinks, and it's more of like the insult to her best friend, which is not really a best friend. So that they put her into jails.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're talking about Yurei Deco now, not not that episode on
Well, who knows? Maybe there'll be a
Black
wedding
Mirrors.
episode of Yurei Deco, and it'll follow the exact same plot, and then
Yeah.
we'll be like,
So
wow.
I still like the world building well enough. I don't really particular care for Zero, as he like he doesn't even like speak the language that we understand. Oh, sorry, they. I'm not sure if it's a he or she. I'm still interested to find out what this show what message want to say.
Don't you really?
And
I mean, don't you feel like the message is just patently obvious from the first episode?
it
Like, get off
is,
social
but
media and live your life. Don't let Silicon Valley control you. Don't let tech companies dominate your attention. I mean, I can't imagine the series is going in a different direction than that.
yeah, well, that's partly true, but yeah, I'm still interested to find out.
All right, well, I'm not. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than I don't feel the same. I think
Yeah.
this setting is extremely boring. It's just all the buildings are like gray and they all are completely dull looking. The city is dull and it just has like the art direction is it's just honestly a pitiful attempt at creating a city where they've got like augmented reality, like holograms being projected over stuff. Because buildings are just decorated with random shapes and little heart symbols with numbers next to them indicating how many likes the resident of that building has. All the random shapes that are just slapped onto everything. I just don't understand what the meetings were like between the director and the art director, art designer, the people who were conceiving the look of this series before production. How could they have settled on this? This is not good.
Uh,
No. No to all of this. Give me Psycho-Pass any day of the year over this.
yeah. Too bad. All right. I put it number 5 out of 10.
Okay. For me, it was 7th.
Right. Yes. So we don't have really that much of a difference between maybe on Yurei Deco and Lucifer, the Biscuit Hammer, which I
I mean,
enjoy
every
a lot more than you.
Yeah. I mean, Bucchigire is the series mathematically that has the biggest
Right.
difference between our
Yeah.
ranks. But I don't. I
Yep.
mean, you obviously weren't a fan of it. I wasn't either. I don't care about Bucchigire. I'll never see another
Yeah.
episode of it in my life. But I also thought there were 3 series that were worse. 4 that were
4.
worse or just
Yep.
less, interesting to me. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think, I'm between the two of us. I'm always the one who says it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't want to compare seasons to each other. I don't want to compare years to each other. I don't want to say that
Yep.
a particular season is good or bad or whatever. It's all a matter of personal opinion, et cetera, blah, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
But I just have a feeling
Yep.
that next season is going to be way, way, way better than this. It has to be. It has
Yep.
to be.
Yep. So yeah, so this is all just a preparation for for the next season. If this season is bad, the next one gonna be a lot better. You will see it. The next season is in another light. So hopefully,
Yeah, I mean, I
that is
expect
the
it to be
case.
better based on the shows that are going to be premiering. And I mean, it also has to be said, we didn't, we covered, when we were deciding what 10 shows to pick, it occurs to me only now. Originally, we thought we were going to do this much earlier, like 3 weeks earlier, in the middle of July. But that didn't end up happening. So the 10 shows that we selected were 10 shows that would have been released by that point. But there were other shows that you had put forward for consideration that I don't remember the names of anymore. And perhaps those would have been more interesting. And also, even putting all that aside, there are shows that are still going to come out this season. For example, Rilakuma and Kaoru, second season, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and the freaking Tatami Galaxy sequel thing, Tatami Time Machine Blues. It's coming out in 5 weeks on Disney Plus.
Yep.
So
in 5 weeks.
Yeah, mid-September. Maybe a slightly more than 5 weeks, between 5 and 6. But yeah, it's coming out soon. And that show, I mean, directed by Shingo Natsume, who's my favorite currently working TV anime director. Like I hope that's gonna be amazing. So, the summer's not dead yet.
Yeah. Well, the show that I put forward on is actually Isekai Oji-san. I watched an episode of that, and I think it's curious enough. It's funny enough for me to consider to like talk about this rather than Isekai Yakkyoku.
Well, I had already
Other than
seen
that,
that one, and
no.
I didn't want to watch another one. Like, I already knew exactly what I was going
Right.
to say about Isekai Yakkyoku, which is that
Yeah.
it was bad.
Yeah. All right.
But there were
We
others. There
also
were others you had recommended too. Like, I'm talking like weeks and weeks and weeks ago, and I
yeah.
was like, no, those won't be out by the 17th.
Yeah. And
I forget what those are.
this one that you just mentioned indeed very promising. But remember that there are some other show that like from our like favorite director that didn't come out right, like Yurei Deco. So like keep your expectation in check.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I certainly should. But I mean, come on,
yep, yep, it is
Shingo
actually very
Natsume
exciting.
doing a Tatami Galaxy sequel, Tatami Time Machine Blues.
Yep.
Rilakama and Kaudu, that's guaranteed. I mean, that's a lock. That's anime
Yeah.
of the year, baby. Yeah,
Alrighty.
those will
So
be out eventually. We got the fall season coming up too. There's a few shows from this season that are pretty promising. We already talked about those.
yep.
Um, just can't help but feel negatively about some of this. But there's plenty
Yeah.
of there's plenty of reasons to be positive too. They're coming up.
Yep. Just remember that next season we have like Chainman Shaw, Mob Psycho 100 season 3, like some other good stuff like Pop Team Epic second season.
Yes. Pop Team Epic is getting a sequel. There's more Spy Family.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the Bleach reboot, or not a reboot. It's a sequel. They're adapting an arc that wasn't covered by the original series. I'm curious about it. I want to see like what kind of treatment is it going to get? Is it just going to be kind of lame, like the original series, or are they going to go all out with it?
Yep.
We're getting Bocchi the Rock. We're getting a new season of Yamano Susume. We're getting, I don't know, the Urusei Yatsuda series, which is going to run
Yeah.
for
I
46
don't know.
episodes, which is a crazy number, at least in today's anime landscape.
Yeah. The new season of Golden Kamuy as well. I'm
Yes.
expecting that.
Right? Yeah, it's
And a
all
lot more.
it's all coming up, yeah.
Yeah. So
Just gotta
alright,
hang on, man. Just gotta hang on until
Yep.
fall.
Yeah. So wait until like 2 months from now. So we will have like the review of this seasons, and then we move on to the next one.
That's right. Forever and ever.
All right. So enjoy your August, and we see you next time.
See ya.